in football that you'll get, because now we'll know after today who's going to be in the Super Bowl. It's bittersweet because it's towards the end of the season, but it is going to be great football today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Only damn. So technically, we got 3 games left of football this year. But then when you account the Pro Bowl, if you take that in, which I don't really watch the Pro. I don't think nobody watches the Pro Bowl. You got that as well. But it is what it is. We got 2 games, two big games, championship games. Let's start off with the first game. Let's just jump right in. Eagles 49ers. The game is going to be played in Philly. Um, a pretty good season for both of these teams. The Eagles pretty much been hot all season, outside of the 2 games that Jalen Hurts missed this year, and of course the Washington game. And we know the 49ers have won about 7 straight games under rookie quarterback Brock Purdy, so they're probably the hottest team going into the playoffs. But talk to me about this game. Who you taking and why?
Well, let's start off by saying this, man. Very rarely do we actually get the best two teams in the conference to play at this point. There's always a team that kind of crashes the party and comes in and is an underdog story. But these are the best two teams in the NFC. We've talked about it for several weeks now. The Eagles have gotten right back on track after missing Jalen Hurts for a little bit. Brock Purdy has done a phenomenal job, and this may be his job long term with the 49ers. But in terms of this game, I've gone back and forth on it. We talked about it on Friday. 49er defense against that explosive Eagle offense. Great Eagles offensive line against that 49ers front four. For me, the difference in this game is Kyle Shanahan. The coaching advantage is slightly better on the San Francisco side. We know about D'Amico Ryans and what he's done with that defense, but Kyle Shanahan's offense is always prepared. They always bring in new wrinkles that you haven't seen on film. And for me, that's the difference in this game. Their experience, their head coaching experience over Sirianni and playing in these situations, I got to go with Kyle Shanahan, man. And I think in a very close game, the 49ers win. I think they find a way to slow down this Eagles offense just enough. And like I said on Friday, I'm going to say 23-21, San Francisco wins this game in a very close, very good game.
I got to agree with you on that one. We've the last I want to say the last couple of weeks we've been talking heavy about coaching and how important it is, and we've seen in several games the difference that good coaching has done to help a couple of teams win in this playoffs. I think the first one we saw was with Jacksonville in that wild card round, and the comeback victory they had over the Chargers after having 5 turnovers in the first half of that game. But yeah, this I think that's what it's gonna come down to. It's gonna come down to coaching. Um, and I gotta give the edge to Shanahan. I think these two teams are both evenly matched. Two of the top defenses. Obviously, San Fran has the number 1 defense right now, but the Eagles are one of the top defenses in football. The running games, Miles Sanders has had an All-Pro year. And we know who Christian McCaffrey is, one of the best. He's an all-time great. And we know what his addition for the 49ers offense has done. The wide receivers, you put these guys, match them head to head with Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel for the 49ers, and then AJ Brown and Devontae Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles. They kind of cancel each other out. Tight end, I would give the edge to the 49ers, obviously with George Kittle there. And then you got 2 really good young quarterbacks with Jalen Hurts, who was an MVP candidate this year. And of course, Brock Purdy, the was Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft this year, but he by no means is looking like he should have been the last pick in the draft this year. He's elevated. Kyle Shanahan has opened up the offense and elevated him from just managing the games as we saw with the first couple of games that he played in to now letting him just air it out. He's had a hell of a playoffs. I'm looking forward to the rematch because the last time Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy played each other was in college. So this is going to be their first time going head to head in the pros. I'm looking forward to this game, but I do think that the 49ers edge the Eagles in this one. So yeah, I gotta go with San Fran, man. I'm sorry, and I know the Eagles fans will say, "Oh, but you're a Giants fan. You got the Giants bias." And listen, it is what it is. The 49ers are a complete team, and I don't, the Eagles haven't seen anything like that defense this year with Nick Bosa, and those guys. So I am really looking forward to this game. Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll say this too. This is a very tough game to pick because, anybody who's been listening and following along, Philly was one of my preseason picks. They were the team that I thought really could surprise people and come out of the NFC. So personally, I'm not shocked that they're at this point in the season. I know some other people, we didn't see them winning 14 games. Hey, I thought this team was really good. I thought Jalen Hurts would take that next step up, which he has. And as you mentioned, you got two great young quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts was an MVP candidate this year before he missed those couple of games with injury. Brock Purdy has been phenomenal for the 49ers. For a guy to be a rookie, a guy who didn't play most of the season and came on second half of the season, his first playoff game, he threw for over 300 yards. So this guy isn't scared of the moment. I know going into Philly is going to be a different beast. I expect all that. I think these are the two most complete teams in all of football. I even said on Friday, the winner of this game possibly wins it all. Because when you look up and down the roster, as you mentioned, Trip, good young quarterbacks, good running game, good receivers on both sides of the field, good receivers, good offensive lines, good defensive lines, good linebackers. Secondary is the only area that Philly is clearly better than San Fran. The secondary of Philly is much better than San Fran's secondary. But San Fran schematically and everything that D'Amico Ryans does kind of covers up for what they really don't have in the secondary. Still a solid secondary, but not on the level of Darius Slay and James Bradbury and those guys. But ultimately, as you mentioned, for me, we've talked about this for so long, and I can't overlook it now. Coaching matters. And when you have a guy like Kyle Shanahan, who's been to a Super Bowl as a head coach and an offensive coordinator, who's played in these type of games time and time again. He had his team in the NFC Championship game last year against the Rams in a game that they should have won, right? A game that they should have won. I just think that area is the difference. Nick Sirianni's never had to experience this. He doesn't know what those expectations are like going into a conference championship game where you're talking about Kyle Shanahan, who's done this time and time again. He's going to have his team prepared. He's going to give you things that you've never seen on film. I guarantee you. I know people who are watching like, oh, yeah, you guys, y'all love talking about what Kyle Shanahan does with the pieces he has because it's amazing what he does. Sometimes it's Debo in the backfield. Sometimes it's McCaffrey. Oh, Elijah Mitchell might not play today. He might play. If he plays, I guarantee you're going to see 25 snaps of him. Where's Kittle lined up? Oh, don't forget Brandon Ayuk got one-on-one on the outside. So there's so many things that he can do that to me, it gives him a slight advantage. And that's why I'm taking San Fran.
Yeah. Once again, I gotta agree with you, man. There's just so many options for the San Francisco 49ers. Either way you slice it, though, I think we are looking at a hell of a championship Sunday coming up today. But yeah, man.
And let's be clear, Trip, because I think you would agree with this as well. If Philly were to win, neither one of us would be surprised.
No, not at all. Because again, they're evenly matched teams.
Right. And you and I both, we talked about it several times. We both had Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation. The injuries and the missed games are the only thing that's stopping him from possibly winning it. But we spoke very highly of Jalen Hurts all season. We love Devontae Smith. I know that shit guy, Alabama guy. We love A.J. Brown. You know what I'm saying? So we love what Philly has. We're both in agreement that advantage of coaching is very big. And I think it gets overlooked too often.
And that's the thing. That's why it's a little bittersweet for me because, I really hate when my guys from Alabama wind up on teams that I don't rock with. So it's hard for me to root for them. But Devontae Smith is my guy. So, I want him to have success. I just don't want the Eagles to have success. But listen, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this is Real Fans, Real Talk. We still fans, even though we can talk with anybody on any level. We still fans at the end of the day. So, we want what we want. But yeah, no surprises here. These are two evenly matched teams. So if the Eagles now, I don't see this ain't going to be no 30-3 blowouts. There's not going to be no blowouts in this thing. These teams are too evenly matched. But if you tell me the Eagles are going to win this game, I'm not going to do too much arguing with you because it's a coin toss of a game. I'm just giving the edge to the 49ers as you are. But again, the Eagles are fully capable of winning this game. You want to go back to the Giants game. We know the Giants and the Eagles are two unevenly matched teams. And by no means are they on the same level. These two teams are pretty much even from top to bottom, with the Eagles maybe having the edge in the secondary, 49ers maybe having the edge in coaching department. To be honest with you, I don't even really give too much of an edge to Jalen Hurts at the quarterback position, even though I feel like he was an MVP candidate because of how well Brock Purdy has played. And who knows, how this thing looks if Brock Purdy plays from the beginning of the season, because they already got him as a finalist for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So who knows, what it looks like if he's the starter from the beginning of the season going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? So I can't even really give too much of an edge in the QB department because again, neither one of these quarterbacks really turn over the football like that.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So yeah, yes, Jalen Hurts is a top 3. He's a finalist for MVP right now. But again, we only have a short sampling of Brock Purdy in these last 7 games. Like I said, who knows how this thing changes if he does play from the beginning of the season. I will say this because I did mention the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Although Brock Purdy is a finalist, I will be upset if they give the Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year award to Brock Purdy with only 5 regular season games under his belt. When you have 2 guys with Kenneth Walker and Garrett Wilson from the Jets who have pretty much balled out this entire season. Wilson leading all rookies in receptions and in receiving yards. Walker leading rookies in rushing yards and in touchdowns. So I would be a little bit upset if they give Brock Purdy the Offensive Rookie of the Year, just because we're already a quarterback league. The MVP is pretty much a quarterback award now. So I don't want to see them just give Brock Purdy the award just because he's hot. The 49ers have hot, and they won 7 straight games.
I completely agree with you on that. I don't think Brock Purdy is deserving of that award because of the impact those other guys had on their teams for the whole season, as opposed to Brock Purdy, who was able to come in late in the season. But in terms of advantage at the quarterback position, yeah, Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback. We both can agree on that. That's the obvious. But in terms of experience, both these guys have played the same amount of playoff games. Jalen Hurts is quarterback 2 games. Brock Purdy is quarterback 2 games. You know what I'm saying? So there isn't this advantage of like, well, because Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback and he's played more playoff games. No, Jalen Hurts played 1 playoff game last year. He's played 1 so far this year. Brock Purdy has played 2 games so far this year. So they're both inexperienced in what to expect in this moment because, as you mentioned, the Eagles haven't faced a defense that has been this good. Yeah. On the flip side, you can point back to a game middle of the season where the 49ers faced that Kansas City offense. Kansas City lit them up. But from that point on, that's when the San Francisco defense really took off and solidified themselves as the best defense in football. They learned from their mistakes against Kansas City. So that'll be something else to be watched today too, because Philly's never faced this type of defense. Yeah. They haven't had to see this. And I think that's again, goes back to the coaching. You got Kyle Shanahan. We love Kyle Shanahan. DeMeco Ryans is probably an NFL head coach next season. He's the one manning this defense. I think it's going to be very interesting between Jalen Hurts against that defense, but the coaching. Again, we keep saying the coaching because that's how strong we feel about it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to everybody that's rocking with us so far on the live. Y'all just keep coming in. We're going to be here for a little while. We got some sports to get to today. So big shout out to you guys. Make sure you're following us on all our social media, facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk, Instagram, Twitter @RealFanTalk. And of course, let me throw the YouTube channel up there so y'all can see that thing. Subscribe to that YouTube channel, man. YouTube.com/For the Fans Productions. And of course, always make sure that you are subscribed to both the Sanchez Show podcast and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. We are on all major streaming platforms. So, with that being said, let's get to game number 2, man. This is going to be a big game. The guys that I have as number 1 and number 2, even though I got a little distance between 1 and 2, at the quarterback position in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs will be at Arrowhead. Let me say that again. Arrowhead Stadium, okay? Going against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. And let me be clear, there's no Burrowhead Stadium. I know a couple of the Bengals players was, talking that talk, but y'all, first of all, y'all haven't even won enough games in Arrowhead to even, use that as a moniker. But, it is what it is. Bengals versus Chiefs. That's going to be the late game, 6:00 this evening. You know what, Eric? Let me start with this one because we've been going back and forth the past couple of weeks We've been talking about this Mount Rushmore thing amongst the QBs, and we've given a lot of praise to Patrick Mahomes, especially seeing him come back into a game last week in the division round against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and pretty much on one foot hold it down and advance to, what was this? Is this his sixth right now, Eric?
Fifth straight conference championship.
Fifth straight conference championship game. So he has not lost before the conference championship game pretty much in his entire career. At this point, you can say that. I like the Chiefs in this game. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes, Mr. Mount Rushmore, Mr. Number 4 on the Mount Rushmore, Mr. And again, the award haven't been announced yet, but Mr. 2-time MVP award winner. I'm just saying it right now because everybody knows Patrick Mahomes is the MVP this season. In a very tough game, in a very close game, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, led by one of the best coaches in football and one of the best coaches, period, Andy Reid, and one of the best offensive minds. And we got to give him some praise too, even though we do a lot on this show, but other people don't. But Eric Bieniemy, I think they win this game, and I gotta commend you, Eric, because I believe it was Friday. You brought up a stat that I hadn't even remembered, which was the last time Patrick Mahomes had a high ankle sprain. He came back and threw for 4 touchdowns and was it like 400 yards in that game?
Yep, 4 touchdowns, 400 yards the very next week after having a high ankle sprain in 2019.
Well, you know what, Eric? Go ahead, you take it over there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, and I'm glad you handed it off to me at that point, because I want to put some of these numbers into context as well, because people say, oh, well, the Bengals are 3-0 against Kansas City. And that is true. But as you mentioned, right, they didn't win all these games in Kansas City. There was games that were played in Cincinnati as well. Last year's regular season game was played in Cincinnati. This year's regular season game was played in Cincinnati. Exactly. The only game Cincinnati won in Arrowhead was last year's AFC Championship game. If we want to talk about last year's AFC Championship game, the Chiefs were on the verge of blowing the doors off that game before halftime. Tyreek Hill gets stopped, and then the Bengals make a strong comeback in the second half and win that game in overtime. Oh, by the way, the 2 times that Patrick Mahomes has lost in the AFC Championship game, they were overtime losses. They weren't regular season bad showings. They were an overtime loss to the Patriots and overtime loss to the Bengals, right? His 3 losses to the Bengals have all come by 3 points. Last year's regular season game, last second field goal. AFC Championship game last year, overtime field goal. This year, 27-24, a game that the Chiefs were leading going into the fourth quarter, and the Bengals scored 10 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. So none of these games have been blowouts. Cincinnati by no means has dominated these games. These games have been evenly matched games that one team had moments where they took advantage of the momentum. Other teams had moments where they took advantage of the momentum. And ultimately, at the end of the game, the Bengals were the beneficiary of all that. So when people say, and specifically the Bengals, oh, this Burrowhead, you haven't dominated Kansas City. It's not as if you were running them off the field. These were all close games decided by a field goal. When people say, oh, well, the Bengals are 3-0, again, these are games that one play in either direction changes the complexion of any one of these games. If Kansas City scores right before the half last year, that game is a blowout and it's not even close in the second half. If Kansas City finds a way to score one time in the fourth quarter in the regular season this year, they beat Cincinnati in that game as well. So these are very close games. I think the Bengals have poked at the bear. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, Trip. You mentioned it. I think there is no debating he is the best guy at that position. Yeah. But when you poke the bear and you say things like Burrowhead, and when the mayor of your city comes out and says, we're going to do a paternity test on Joe Burrow to see if he's Patrick Mahomes' daddy, now you've gone too far. Now the level of disrespect now has crossed the line now. And that's why you see guys like Chris Jones get up on a podium and consistently say, yeah, they coming to Burrowhead. Yeah, they coming to Burrowhead.
I'm sorry, Eric, but that was funny, though.
No, it's funny. It's funny. But these are the things that don't age well when you look back at it like, you probably shouldn't have said that. Mm-hmm. So when guys like Chris Jones, who's a leader of that team, who's going to be on defense going at Joe Burrow, and let's not forget, the Bengals still got a banged up offensive line. Just because the Bills didn't take advantage of it last week, don't think that Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs aren't looking at ways to exploit that offensive line.
Absolutely.
So when Chris Jones says, yeah, they coming to Burrowhead, we'll see you guys at Burrowhead, that's a locker room that's already upset about what's been said. So I expect a great performance today from Patrick Mahomes. I'm gonna be honest. I expect
electrifying.
I expect a y'all must have forgot performance today. Yeah, Joe Burrow's great. He doing his thing, but he not this.
No.
And I think Patrick Mahomes is going to remind a lot of people today. He's not this. He's a great quarterback in his own right. He's done some phenomenal things in his 3 years in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But people are more excited about Burrow going to back-to-back AFC Championship games and completely overlooking that this is Patrick Mahomes' 5th straight.
Yeah.
People are more excited about what the Bengals are doing and forgetting that Patrick Mahomes just had another historic NFL season that he's about to win an MVP in. I can't remember a time that a team was the number 1 seed with the MVP on their team and people were more excited about the other team. I think the Chiefs are going to remind people today about that.
Because you know how it is when you get a shiny new toy.
Like, yeah, that's true.
Man, I know I got this PS4, but I just got the PS5 over here. Let me rock with the PS5 for a minute. But yeah, and I got to go back to a discussion that we were having last week in regards to the Memphis Grizzlies. You know, with teams doing more talking than their resume calls for. Now, if you guys had beat the Chiefs last year in the AFC Championship game, went on to win the Super Bowl, and now y'all coming back, you know what? I'll ease back some. In reality, though, what have you guys really accomplished? And in comparison to what the Chiefs have done since Patrick Mahomes has taken over as the number 1 QB, because I can tell you what the Chiefs have done. Chiefs have been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. The Chiefs has produced the MVP not once but twice. Joe Burrow ain't got no MVPs. As good as Joe Burrow is, guess what? He ain't the favorite for MVP right now. Matter of fact, he probably is third. Because Jalen Hurts is second in MVP running. Okay, so let's be clear. Listen, do that. I love the talking, but you got to show improve on the field too. Again, these all 3 games have been very close games. You have not dog walked the Chiefs at any point in any game that you guys have played each other. So there is a difference. If you had gone in and every time y'all played, it's a dominant performance where it's clear that the Bengals are a better team than the Chiefs. Okay, I'll give you that. But that's not the case here. These have been very close, very competitive games where pretty much all 3 of them have come down to the wire. So just listen, stay humble, get on that field. But I agree with you, Eric. I think that you have awoken the giant, and Patrick Mahomes is going to show you why he is a 2-time MVP in this league, why he is a Super Bowl MVP in this league. I believe he is going to show that to the Cincinnati Bengals starting at 6:00 this evening. So if you have not put your tickets in, you might want to put your tickets in now, because it's definitely going to go down at 6 p.m. 2 nights. Kansas City Chiefs at home, and I'm gonna say this again, in Arrowhead Stadium. They're going to get that win, and they're gonna send them Bengals home, and we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah, I think so too. And like you said, I mean, it's one thing when you dominate a team, but it's almost like losing to somebody in Madden or 2K who they beating you on final shots, in 2K, and then it's like they talking as if they dominate. Like, you didn't dominate me. Like you
Won by
just
3
had
points.
yeah, you had the ball last. You know what I'm saying? You had the ball last and you made a play. But that's why I think they kind of poked at the bear a little bit. This is one of the moments where we can't create any bulletin board material because that's still Patrick Mahomes, that's still Travis Kelce, that's still Andy Reid on that side.
Yeah.
Now, if the Bengals come out and dominate today, I'll eat my words and I'll be the first to say, hey, I was wrong. The Bengals are better than I thought. But last time I checked, the best team in the AFC for 5 years now has been the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's who I'm gonna ride with in this one.
Exactly. Really quick before we leave the NFL, just want to give you guys a quick update. We have finally heard from Damar Hamlin. He has spoke. There was a video release with him just thanking everybody, showing his appreciation for all the love and support that he has gotten, since the injury week 17 during that Bills game that had to be ultimately canceled. So just wanted to update you guys on that. And again, just shout out to Damar Hamlin, man, and wishing you continued recovery. Hopefully you can continue to live your football dreams out and get back to playing the game that you love at some point. But definitely, wanted to wish you a speedy recovery, man.
Absolutely, man. It was great hearing that message and hearing how he's progressed over the last couple of weeks. And I want to send my condolences to the conspiracy theorists out there who
Okay.
thought there was some big cover up regarding the injury. You guys should be ashamed of yourselves for even toying around with this man's life like that and making it seem as if this was some cover up by some elaborate cover up by the NFL, when this was really this young man's life in jeopardy. And
Yeah.
so to see him progress, man, we've talked about it so many times, and we're going to continue to send out our prayers and our thoughts to his family. And it was just so happy to see that message from him.
Yeah, that was such ignorance. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Such freaking ignorance.
Yeah.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, man. With that man's family going through what they're going through, his friends and the team, everybody has gone through a lot. Like, we have never before seen anything of the sorts. Y'all gotta relax, man. Y'all be doing way too much, man. Get y'all ish together, please.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like you guys throw out these wild conspiracies and never think like, all right, what is there to gain from this? What is the NFL gaining from a conspiracy cover up of how hurt or what type of condition DeMar Hamlin is in? They
Yeah,
already canceled the game. You think the NFL wanted to cancel the game? They didn't want to cancel the game.
right. Come on.
So why would they go through all this trouble? Now let's cover it up. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Y'all gotta quit it with this weirdo stuff. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Get y'all this together. But with that being said, man, let's get over to some NBA talk. Lot has been going down. We have officially received the list of our All-Star game starters. There's only one name for me that I feel like, really kind of got the snub, and that's Joel Embiid. Um let me just list the starters. And so in the East, it's going to be Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is the captain again. And then in the West, of course, we got LeBron, who is the captain. And then he'll be running with Zion Williamson, uh, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and who's the last guy on the West, Eric? Who am I missing on the West? That's the last starter on the West. I'm missing one of the forwards on the West. Wow, why am I drawing a blank right now? Let me. Well, you need a,
Zion, Braun, Joker.
there you go, Joker. That's
And
what.
yeah, and then Luca and Steph.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I had a brain fart for
Mhm.
a quick second. But yeah, I think for me, the only guy who I really feel like got the snub, and again, we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when the first votes came out, and we said one of these guys in the East was not going to make it, obviously, because there's only 3 spots. There's no more forward center spots, is now just front court, back court. So we knew one of the big 4 in the East, whether it be Tatum, KD, Giannis, or Embiid, would have gotten, had to have come off the bench, so to speak. But I do kind of feel like it should have gone to Embiid. I think he should have got that spot. But again, I can't be too mad because again, all of these guys are more than deserving of the starting spot.
Yeah, they're all deserving. Embiid, I'm fully convinced that Embiid listens to us not only on Sundays but Friday nights, because we had a debate about Joker possibly winning his third MVP. You and I both in agreement that Embiid should have won last year, and then he comes out and drops a 40 piece and what 19 rebounds yesterday on the Nuggets. So, but he is more than deserving. You know what I would like to see though? I don't mind the fan vote. Let the fans vote, but when the guys pick, when the captains pick, right, Giannis and Braun, let them pick the 5 they want, whether they got voted as a starter or not. So if
Yeah,
Braun wants to take Embiid, let him take Embiid as his starter. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, well, we can only pick these guys. Because, I mean, it's not a slight against anybody. Everybody is deserving. Kyrie has had a phenomenal year. Donovan Mitchell has had a phenomenal year. Luca, all those guys have had great years. But we do know that Embiid is more than deserving to being a starter. And so I think it should just be up to the captains. Yeah, the fans vote. We appreciate you voting these guys into the All-Star game. But now it's up to the fans. I mean, up to the captains to determine who's the starters.
absolutely. And we one thing I will say, like, yeah, obviously, you know, we know some guys get the starting spot. Not even in this case. Maybe more so. I would say for this is more so a factor in the Western Conference this year with the amount of games that Zion missed, maybe the amount of games that Steph has missed, where somebody might feel like, oh well, Ja Morant should have got that spot, or Sabonis should have got that spot that Zion is in. As far as the backcourt, the front court players go, so that only affected it there. But listen, everybody knows All-Star Weekend is about the fans. It's for the fans. So we can't get too mad when the fans vote in the fan favorites, because at the end of the day, you know, maybe not this particular season because a guy might have missed games, but anybody who's getting that fan vote to start in the All-Star games has put in a level of work and has a resume to where, yes, the fans love you and they're going to continue to vote for you no matter what. Like no matter whether you could have missed the first half of the season, it doesn't matter. When you have that kind of a resume, fans are going to vote for you. Bottom line, we've seen it with AI, we've seen it with McGrady, we've seen it with Vince, we've seen it with so many guys throughout the years who are like, well, damn, he ain't played a whole, but you know what? He's a fan favorite, and this is all about the fans. So we can't really get too mad. Even though I do feel like as because again, Zion started the season off very strong, but he has missed a lot of games. But I get it. Sabonis is in a small market. He doesn't have that type of fan base, and he's not an electrifying player. You
Right.
know what I mean? So where it's like, no, we got to have him in there. When you look at Zion, Zion is the epitome of an electrifying player.
Mm-hmm.
Power, dunk, speed. He has a little bit of everything. So I get it on that standpoint. When I thought it was going to be LeBron versus KD, I'm like, all right, we might have a little bit of game. But now I know it's going to be LeBron versus Giannis again. I hope Giannis has stepped up his GM skills from a season ago, because LeBron ain't playing. He's trying to stay
Yeah.
undefeated.
LeBron's trying to stay undefeated in All-Star games, and you highlighted it very well a couple weeks ago when you talked about the brands and brands of players is really what's going to push the fan vote. And like you said, Sabonis doesn't have a brand, so for people to really know what he is as a player. Same thing with Shai Gilgeous. I think Shai Gilgeous was deserving, averaging 30 points a game. But again, it's Steph Curry, it's Luka Doncic. You're not getting that vote over those guys.
What are you gonna say?
Yeah, you're just not getting that vote over those guys.
You want me to bench Steph Curry so Sabonis can have a spot?
Not happening.
Like, come on, that didn't even sound right. Now, it don't even sound right to say, do you want me to bench Steph Curry so Ja Morant could have a starting spot?
Not happening.
Like, and again, I love Ja Morant. Think he could do a little less talking, a little bit more playing. But I love Ja Morant. But no, nobody's gonna be like, especially not when Steph Curry continues to smoke y'all boots when y'all go head up. It's like, you want me to?
I mean, it's just too tough because Steph, like you said, it's for the fans, and what Steph does is so appealing to the fans. His ability to shoot from the logo, his ability to just shoot from the moment he crosses half court. That's exciting for the fans. Aside from all the individual accolades, and we know who he is, but the fans, like you said, want to see the best athletes on the court. Yeah. And so, unfortunately, Embiid takes a hit, Sabonis takes a hit, Ja takes a hit because of the brands of these other guys. But they'll be there All-Star Weekend, and they'll still have their moments.
And guess what? Joel Embiid and Ja Morant are going to have minutes as if they were starters.
Yeah, they're going to have their moments.
Okay, let's be clear. Both of those guys are going to have minutes like they were starters. Now, I can't say the same thing for Sabonis because that one I don't know just yet. But Ja Morant and Joel Embiid are going to have probably however much minutes they want, they're going to get. Okay, yeah, so let's let's not be too upset because they're going to get in, they're going to ball. And again, we know, especially a lot of times what happens is with the elder statesmen, the guys that have been there, 10 plus times, they've been allowing the younger guys to go anyway because they trying to rest up and they're trying to go too crazy All-Star Weekend because they know they got to make that push for the second half of the season. So guys are gonna get their minutes. It's okay. Don't be too upset because in reality, you're upset at your fellow fans. So it kind of doesn't make like you know what I mean? Like your fans being mad at fans, it is what it is, man. This whole thing is about the fans. Just sit back and enjoy the game and what you should be doing is hope that you can get John Morant and Anthony Edwards to go head to head in the dunk contest. That's what you should be focused on.
They haven't announced the participants yet, right?
No, not yet,
Oh,
not
all
yet.
right.
But wouldn't you love to see John Morant and Anthony Edwards
Yeah,
going?
we talked about that last week. Put them in there.
You can actually, you know what? I'm gonna throw Donovan Mitchell in there as well because I done seen him, posterize a couple of cats this season too.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't mind throwing him in there, and then if you want to throw Aaron Gordon back in there as a fourth, I know he was, talking that if he makes the All-Star team, he'll do it. But
I would, if possible, I would want Zion.
That would be crazy too. So all right, so the dream. This is going to be as far as the young boys go. This is our dream dunk contest: John Morant versus Anthony Edwards versus Donovan Mitchell versus Zion Williamson. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a few phone calls, Eric. I'm gonna see if I can.
That's the one. You give me that one, I will be locked in on Saturday night for the dunk contest. Give us that one.
I'm here with you, 1,000%.
Because as you know, Trip, that year that we got Vince, McGrady, and Steve Francis, which is, in my opinion, the greatest dunk contest ever.
We were spoiled.
Yeah. Like them dudes, they was producing 10 after 10 after 10. They was going in. I want one of them type nights again.
Any one of those dudes, if they were in a dunk contest by themselves, wins that dunk contest.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But we need that type of competition again, man. That was an amazing year, and we have not seen anything close to that since then.
McGrady, I encourage people go back and look. Some of the dunks McGrady and Steve Francis did were crazy, but because Vince was on such a different level, elbow in the rim, the 360 windmill, you know what I'm saying? The between the legs, like all the things he was doing was just so phenomenal that we forgot how great those guys were. But go back and look at what T-Mac and Steve Francis did in that slam dunk contest and tell me they couldn't have won their own. If they weren't facing Vince, they would have won the competition.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit up a couple of our dunking friends. I'm gonna have to hit up Sir Isaac or Maxwell, one of those guys, get them to come on before All-Star break so they can actually give some pointers pre-dunk contest, so that we don't have the debacle that we had last year with the dunk contest.
I like that idea. We that's a good one. We need to work on that off air.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna get that because I know the people love when we have the dunkers come on the show. So we'll take care of that off air. Shout out to Miles Turner. He wound up finally taking the bag. Him and Indiana, they got things together. 2-year deal. I like it. We always supporting brothers getting to the bag, even though I wish the Lakers would have made a move to get him, but obviously. So now we know they won't be getting Miles Turner because ain't no more trades this season. That's it now that he signed that contract. He couldn't even get traded until the offseason at this point. Mm-hmm. So doesn't even matter. But shout out to him. Pacers actually playing some decent basketball between him and Halliburton. I think they're trying to do something. They're trying to make some kind of move. But congrats to Miles Turner.
Yeah, the Pacers have kind of changed course. They were looking to rebuild and trade away some of their valuable pieces to get more picks, but it never really happened with the Lakers. It never came together. And as you mentioned, they played some pretty solid ball this year, and they figured like, all right, let's reward the guy Miles Turner and give him an opportunity to grow with these young guys. And the biggest loser here is the Lakers. Lakers had an opportunity to make that move, and they didn't. And so now it's back to the drawing board for the Lakers on how they can make themselves a competitive playoff team.
And I want to say this because we're going to talk a little bit about Lakers right now. Actually, they did bring over Ryu Hachimura. I know I'm messing up his name,
but Rui Hachimura.
Rui Hachimura. Excuse me, my bad, brother. Respectfully, they did bring over Rui from the Washington Wizards. He's actually been playing solid for the Lakers. But what I want to talk about, Eric, is what's been going on with these calls late in the games involving the Lakers. This is now a third game now within the past week and a half where there was either a controversial no call or call at the end of the game that cost the Lakers a win. And we saw that again last night against the Celtics. A clear foul at the end of the game on LeBron James that does not get called, with the referee literally standing right in front of the play. The call doesn't get made, and immediately before, because usually they don't put out those reports till after the game is over. They put out the report in overtime that it was a foul that should have been called. Ultimately, LeBron James would have gone to the line. Does he make the free throws? I mean, we don't know until we see him on the line shoot him. But I think LeBron could at least make one of those free throws in that situation. He's not, a 90%. He's not one of those 50, 40, 90 guys, but I think he could have made one of those free throws. He was hot that game. He was already, I believe, 4 for 5 from the foul line, something like that in that game. So he was actually doing pretty well from the foul line. But what's going on? Why is LeBron and the Lakers not getting these calls down the stretch?
It might be a changing of how the league views LeBron. And we joke about a lot of times that the best players get all the calls, but as you mentioned, Braun isn't getting those calls now. His team doesn't get those calls now. And yesterday was an obvious call. You're right. It's clear as day. It's unfortunate that Pat Bev caught a technical foul for grabbing the camera and showing the ref, hey, you missed the call. But
I wasn't mad at him for that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I can't be mad at Pat Bev in that situation because it's a high emotion game. It's a very winnable game on national television for a Laker team that is still trying to find their way. Pat Bev, by the way, too, got to tip my hat to him. Pat Bev did play really well yesterday and made some really big shots for the Lakers.
Yes.
To give them an opportunity to win that game. So I understand the frustration for the Lakers, but my thing, from what I'm viewing, is that the Lakers, and specifically Braun, are no longer viewed as the crown jewel of the league. They are no longer viewed as a team that gets those 50-50 calls anymore, because as you mentioned, this is the third time within the last few weeks that they didn't get the call.
Yeah, damn. And you know what? I hadn't even thought about it like that, but yeah, you might be right about that, because that was disgusting last night. The refs literally took that game away from the Lakers.
I wouldn't go that far, but they definitely at the very least they took away an opportunity for the Lakers to win the game.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if Braun goes to the line and makes one, the game's probably over.
Yeah.
But you still got to execute in overtime. You still got to make some plays.
A play before that tied it up, where they called the foul on Pat Bev. And you know what I mean? And Jaylen Brown gets the M1. It's tough, man.
That was a foul. I didn't like that they called it so late, because even in real time I saw that he caught him across the head. Pat Bev was right. Oh, he caught ball, but you also elbowed him in the head in the process of trying to block. The one to me that was the really bad one was late in the fourth. Anthony Davis gets tied up with Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon is behind him, and Brogdon kind of hooked AD's arm.
Yeah.
His left arm, and AD, was able to fight free and get the rebound. And then they called the offensive foul. And I'm like, that's a real ticky-tack call right there, because you got two guys battling for a rebound, and AD had position. So that one was kind of a crucial one in that moment, because AD gets the rebound and it would have been an easy putback for him. So there was little moments that the Lakers could have won that game. And again, it's a very tough loss for a Laker team that's trying to find their way.
Yeah, I agree. And it really sucks, because again, we are witnessing history being made right before our eyes. Within the next week and a half, give or take, we're going to see LeBron James not only become the all-time leading scorer, but move into the number 4 spot on the assist list. So we're getting a chance to witness history right before our eyes. So I really hope the Lakers can get things together, whether it be making another move to make a push, or whether just being healthy and guys being able to stay on the field, on the court. Excuse me. If you can get Anthony Davis to stay healthy, get LeBron can stay healthy, and they can make a little run, because we are witnessing history right now. And a lot of guys don't even we know about the scoring, because that's talked about, but the assist, fourth all time on the assist list, he's probably going to move higher than that, and he's going to really shatter the all time scoring record, because I don't see LeBron retiring after this season, because he's trying to play with Bronny, so he's definitely not going to retire this season. So he could possibly shatter the all time scoring record.
Yeah, I mean, he's kicking the doors off that now. Again, more proof that the league has been tuned in to Real Fans Real Talk on Sunday. Trip, you have the footage in the archive. Last week, when we talked about Braun and when he could possibly break the record, I said I wouldn't be surprised if he got a 40 game in his bag. And then he immediately came out, and he's given us 2 40 games and also a 37-point game within the last week alone. So Braun knows he's on the cusp. They're on an East Coast trip right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he sits out tomorrow because they got back-to-back games tomorrow and Tuesday. They get Brooklyn tomorrow, then they get the Knicks on the TNT game on Tuesday. So I wouldn't be surprised if, being that this would be their third game in 4 nights, maybe he sits out Brooklyn tomorrow, plays the nationally televised game against the Knicks, where I do think he's going to drop a 40-piece on us in that game as well in the Garden, and then ultimately going to set up what you and I both feel is the day, which is going to take place in LA, probably February 7th against Oklahoma City, or maybe the Bucks on the 9th, because the Lakers right now in the midst of a 4-game road trip, and I wouldn't be surprised if he sits out 1, maybe even 2 games to try to break the record at home.
Yeah, and hey, listen, I would love that. But yeah, it's going down. He's going to break. I think the number right now is 113 points. To tie 114 to take the record.
Well, after he drops 40 on the Knicks, he'll be in range.
As long as he don't break the record on the Knicks, right? I feel like, because with the Knicks luck, I feel like something like that would happen. All right, but
only would it happen to the Knicks that he'll drop 80 on the Knicks in his highest score game ever just to break the record. Only us.
That'll be some BS, right? Yeah, right. That would happen, but no, man. But I think I'm loving this for LeBron James. Another accolade. He's actually, since his birthday, he's actually leading the league in scoring. So his birthday was in December. Since then, he's been leading the league in scoring. You gotta love it.
Listen, the numbers was good. Will, I see you in there. The numbers he's been putting up have been phenomenal. I mean, if the Lakers could just find some damn shooting on the perimeter, it could be different because, I like what I've seen from Russ. Russ has really changed things up since moving to the bench. You're getting a good minutes from Pat Bev. You talked about Rui. You got a couple quality guys in this rotation, but they just don't have enough shooting right now. And, without that, this is what their season's going to look like. It's going to be Braun chasing records and moving up the personal accolades ladder, but all for nothing, really. You're not winning any games. You're not doing anything of significance as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Subway Series last night, Brooklyn, they held it down again, man. They got one up on y'all, man. Kyrie came to play ball. I like it. I like what I seen. Talk to me though, Eric. What's going on? What's going on with the Knicks right now? Because they have been on an uptick again. They've been surging up, and I want to see. Preferably, I would like to see Jalen Brunson make the All-Star team, but I think it's gonna. Hopefully, one of those two guys, either Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle, do get an All-Star spot this league this year. I would like for it to be Jalen Brunson. I just think he's added such a new dimension to the Knicks. They finally have a point guard, somebody who doesn't turn over the ball and can run the offense and can put up some nice numbers, when he wants to as well. So my preference would be for Jalen Brunson to get it. But if one of those two guys gets it, I think it's well deserved. I think the Knicks should have an All-Star this year.
I mean, I like some of our guys. I like Randall. I like Brunson. But again, we talk about the East is so stacked. I don't know how either one of those guys get in there. But in terms of yesterday, man, it's just a prime example of why the Knicks they're a solid playoff team, but nothing more than that. Because you need stars like Kyrie who could take over the game late. You need those guys who, when you need a bucket, they can go get you a bucket. And we just don't have that guy right now. So on most nights against equal or lesser competition, yeah, we can exploit them. But when you're playing the team like Brooklyn, who has a legitimate star and has legitimate title aspirations, you just ain't got enough, man. And that's why you come up short in that situation. Brunson had a good game. Randall didn't shoot it very well, but it's still a solid game from him. RJ is too inconsistent against better competition too. RJ is very inconsistent. It seems like when we're playing the bottom half of the league, RJ looks like a number 3 overall pick. When we play the top half of the league, RJ looks like a guy that's probably better suited to be a 6th man in this league. So it's very tough for the Knicks to really get any momentum going. And that's why the record indicates that. They're 27-24, as you mentioned. They have moments where they have upticks, then they play 3 or 4 really good teams, and then they lose 4 out of 5 or something, something like in that range. And it's always going to be the same thing until they get the legitimate number 1.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I mean, it's like, man, could have had Donovan.
Go get Shea Gilgeous.
I would love that. I would. I definitely would, because at least with Shea, see, even with with them trying to bring over Donovan earlier this season, you had already signed Jalen Brunson, who was an undersized,
Mhm.
they're both about 6 foot tall. So at least with Shea, you have somebody who plays the same position, but he's 6'5", maybe 6'6", I believe. If I'm not
He's a
mistaken.
very big guard.
Yeah, so it's not and he's a two-way player, so it's not a problem to put him next to Jalen Brunson in the starting lineup. Whereas with Donovan Mitchell, that would have been a very small backcourt, and Donovan Mitchell's not the greatest of defensive players either, so that would have been a tough one. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Shea in New York. Shea is a beast. He's balling. He should make the All-Star team this year. I feel like he'll get voted in. As one of the reserves. But he's definitely having that type of year, and he's an upper echelon talent in this league. I would like to see him in a bigger market, see what he can do. I think he would be a nice little fit for the Knicks. So I wouldn't mind seeing him playing for the Knicks. Oh, everybody's favorite, Matt Barnes. He wanted all the smoke at the 49ers Cowboys game, and he got it. And he got into it with his wife's ex.
His current fiance,
His ex.
yeah, her ex, I believe it's her ex husband.
Hmm.
They
And
got into it.
yeah, and he allegedly, I wasn't there, so I can't say, even though it was video surfacing, but my support for Matt Barnes won't allow me to just put it out there like that. But he allegedly spit on him. I
I
don't know if it.
mean, he's admitted it though. He's admitted it. He said it wasn't his finest moment, but he also gave some context to the video and said that prior to that, the ex-husband was kind of trying to instigate a situation.
Yeah,
And what we saw on video was kind of the ending of it, where, as you can see, people were in between them, separating them. In the video, when he does spit on him, you see the ex-husband just immediately walk away, almost like he had accomplished his mission. I've made you so upset now that now I have something, and now we see the lawsuit of, it caused so much distress and all that. Like, listen,
knock it off.
Matt Barnes, first of all, Matt Barnes is about 6'7",
Mhm.
right? Matt Barnes is he's one of them few guys in the NBA that was willing to fight while he was in the league. And we
Exactly.
all know about his situation with Derek Fisher chasing him around the backyard. So I wouldn't advise you to go down that path with Matt Barnes unless you're ready for what comes with that. So I don't want to hear about no emotional distress, because you should have left that man alone. He was enjoying the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know how that goes. People start shit because this is the era of the lawsuit. Where we just gonna be out here suing everybody. So people start stuff just for that purpose. Because yeah, I know you got the bag. I know you got your NBA money. I know you getting that all the smoke money, that Showtime money. Let me try to get PC on that. And it's like, bro, get you a job. Step your game up. Stop trying to sue people. Don't start no problem so you can sue somebody. Like, I get it. He's with you know with your ex, and maybe you don't like that. But listen, move on. People got to move on. She's moved on. You know what I'm saying? They moved on together. Time for you to move on. Drop this dumbass lawsuit that you done that you put out there for your distress. Ain't nothing wrong with you. And first of all, nobody knew you before the spit. Nobody knew you after. I could not point this man out of a lineup if I seen him. Okay.
Not before the spit and after the spit. We
Nobody
still don't
knows
know
you,
you.
bro.
We still don't know you. We still don't know you.
Exactly, bro. So I'm listening, man. Enough is enough. I'm so tired of the clown stuff, the weirdo stuff. That's number 2 for today. That's 2 weirdo moments we had today. The first is all you DeMar Hamlin conspiracy theorists. That's number 1. This guy's number 2, man.
So
Take yourself.
So you think when he walks around and introduces himself to people, I'm the guy that Matt spit on. That's me. That's his claim to fame now. I'm him.
And now, if you want this lawsuit to go through, you got to introduce yourself as that. I'm the guy Matt Barnes spit on at the game.
You may have seen my footage out there.
I'm kind of a big deal. I went viral, man. So
TMZ was all over it. TMZ was all over it. They know me out there. They know me.
exactly, man. Oh, you know what? Let me because I know we did it on Friday. But just want to send some love out for not only one of the greatest basketball players of all time, one of the most loved basketball players of all time, Kobe Bryant, Gigi, and every other passenger that was on that helicopter and Unfortunately, we all know what happened with that. But I just wanted to show some love and some respect to the Mamba.
My fault. I was muted there. Gone but never forgotten, man. Always in our hearts, man. RIP to Kobe, Gigi, and all the passengers that lost their lives on that horrific day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um. Oh. Shout out to Bronny, All American. Gotta love that. The young man has definitely leveled up. Because I can remember when we first started hearing about Bronny. Oh, I don't know if he's a prospect. I don't know if he can, if he's good enough. Bronny James has been leveling up and silencing the critics, and he is now an All American. And we gotta show that young man some love for that. Shout out to DJ. Was DJ Wagner? Is it the third? I know there's three. I know the father, the son, and
Yeah.
the grandfather
What?
was All American.
Yeah. DJ Wagner, son of legendary Memphis point guard
Mm-hmm.
Dewan Wagner, who Dewan actually played with Braun his first year,
Mm-hmm.
and then he had a really bad injury that undercut his career.
Yeah,
But DJ Wagner is one of the premier high school ball players out there.
exactly.
Court
Like Williams,
a
not
great day that as well. Mikey and Rob Dillingham, to me, were both snubs on this list. Both those guys are top 17 prospects. The rumor is with Mikey that a lot of people feel that he's been disinterested with high school basketball this year since he's got his NIL and he's already committed. Rob Dillingham is number 13 overall. He should have made the All American game as well, and he actually is penalized because he left Donda Academy in the middle of the year to go to overtime elite, and that's why he didn't make the game. So both those guys are more than deserving. I don't want to knock Bronny for making the game because people are making it like Bronny only took their spot. There's some other questionable guys on the list. Bronny's just probably the most notable guy on there, but Mikey and Rob Dillingham should have been there.
Absolutely. Shout out to Courtney Adams, man. Appreciate you locking in with us. Shout out to everybody on the live. I see people is still rocking with us. If y'all got questions, if y'all got comments, I want us to get to something that we may have missed or whatever, or even if we got to it. If you got questions, man, just drop them in that comment section. And we're gonna definitely
You knew
get
you knew Will wasn't gonna be happy about Bronny making the All American game. I just saw your comment, Will. Will was not happy about that.
Listen, no, we're not going to do this, Will. You're not going to be hating on the father and the son. Well, okay, you got to stop this nonsense. See, I can't deal with Will this morning. Man.
Will only got love for the wife and the daughter. He don't care about none of the boys. And I was like, nah, I don't like none of them.
Bryce, nobody
Yeah.
gets no love from Will. Oh my goodness! Shout out to Will Gordon, man. Y'all make sure y'all rocking with us on Friday nights as well. When we do the live, we're live at 9:00 on Friday nights on Facebook. So make sure y'all tune in. Will be with us on Friday doing all the hating that he can do. Love you, Will. Oh man! Oh, you know what? While we talk, I'm gonna switch things around because I had to shout out. They dropped the notorious 13s, the Biggie joints, the Biggie sneakers. I wanted them, but I know it's gonna be too complicated to get them. But only because I love Biggie. That's from Brooklyn that I wanted to get them, but I do like them. And shout out to the Jordan brand, and doing that collabo. That money is gonna be going to charity. So big shout out to them on that. If you haven't seen the sneakers, definitely check them out. And if you can't get them, if you know what I'm saying, let me know if you got them because I'll take them off your hands. Just gonna put that out there.
Nah, it's a super fire collab and release. I just wish it was a little more extensive because, like I said, it is a limited release. But whoever gets their hands on those is definitely a collector's item. And I see you looking at the question, Trip. Do you want to answer that question from Courtney, or should I? You want me to start, or you got it?
Hold on, wait a minute, Courtney. This is your first time in the comments, and you just gonna go in on my guy LeBron like that? Shout out to Courtney Adams. Listen, I love I love the you guys dropping them comments. Now we spoke about that event early in the program, but for Courtney, because I appreciate the love and support, I'm going to answer that again. And no, I don't think. First of all, LeBron wasn't acting a fool. LeBron was acting like somebody who got fouled on a game on a shot that could have potentially won the game for the Los Angeles Lakers in regulation. And he's not getting the calls that he should be getting. I mean, it was clearly a foul. Everybody knows it was a foul. The world knows it was a foul. The league announced that it was a foul. So no, you got to do that because, especially and again, I want to go back to guys, when we talk about all of this flopping stuff. The reason why this has become so prevalent is because guys that should get the calls are not getting the calls. And that was a situation where LeBron James should have definitely gotten that foul called. And he should have been going to the line shooting 2 free throws with a chance to win that game for the Lakers, but instead it didn't happen, and they wound up going overtime, and we know the Lakers ultimately lose. But Eric, go ahead, man.
Yeah, shout out to Cliff too. I see you, man. And good luck today with the Eagles. I know Cliff is a huge Eagles fan, man, a real Eagles fan. Because when I first met Cliff, the Eagles had not won a Super Bowl yet, and he was already rocking with them. I will say this though, it was a foul. We know it was a foul. The moment we saw the replay, it was a foul. But Courtney is right though, bro. No grown man should be jumping up and down and stomping with both feet. You just can't do it. It just can't happen as a grown man that you jumping up in the air, stomping down with both feet. And then he went down to his knees as if he had been shot after. That's the part that was just over the top for me. Like,
bang, bang, I shot you down.
Yeah. The going down to the knees and then your head between your arms. Like, I thought something really happened to him at that point. Like, oh, wow, it must be more than a foul. But yeah, the dramatics were a bit much. It was a foul, but not for that reaction, especially not when you still have an overtime to play. It wasn't like that was the final play of the game. You still got a quarter. You got to get it together.
Yeah. No, listen, you do need to get back, but my ties to LeBron James will not allow me to speak negatively on that man.
You can't be that guy though, Trip. You can't just be a yes man. You got to be real with your people, man. You got to let them know too. Like you acting up right now. You wilding out.
Listen, do you want LeBron on the program or not? Okay.
LeBron can still come on the pro. I mean, we ain't Skip Bayless over here. We ain't doing it like Skip.
Never that. Never that. No, listen, man. Yeah. I mean, it was a little bit extra, but you know what? I get to understand the frustration, man. In a moment like that, it's a marquee game. This is a game, obviously it's still a playoff implications because if the Lakers make the playoffs, you might have to see these guys at some point along the way. If you
gotta relax. No.
Hold
on. See, this is one of the moments as your mans. I gotta tell you, you gotta relax. The only way they would see the Celtics again would be in the NBA Finals, and we know the Lakers is not going to be in the NBA Finals. You got to relax.
You got to keep hope alive, my brother.
You got to relax. I think everybody, the comment section, anybody who watches this today, tomorrow, the day after, we all know the Lakers will not be seeing the Celtics again. Their 2 games for this season have been played. That's enough of that. It won't happen again.
Listen, Courtney, I'm gonna need you to stop taking shots at my guy LeBron in the comments right now. Okay, I appreciate you tuning in. First of all, Courtney, who is your team? Who's your favorite player? I need to know who's your guy because where you coming at my man LeBron right now is unacceptable. All right, so I'm gonna need answers. I need you to explain some things.
I mean, she's speaking of facts. She's been fair. I don't think she's incorrect with what she said. He acted up, man. He did, man. But what else we got, Trip?
He did. Shout out to Courtney on that one, man. We appreciate you dropping those comments and questions. And some boxing news. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury is actually going to go down now, which means that we might actually get what we've wanted, Eric, this whole time during this whole charade, or this whole Jake Paul nonsense, him actually fighting a boxer. I'm actually excited about this one. Okay. I'm very excited. I'm gonna watch this fight. I'm not gonna, not gonna watch pay-per-view, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead, Eric. Take it over.
Yeah, we definitely not putting up money on that one. But he is stepping in there with a legitimate boxer. The trash talk has been going on for like a year and a half between these two, to the point where Tyson Fury has even said if Tommy loses, that they're gonna make Tommy change his last name and he's gonna have to quit boxing. They've already gone that far and said that. They was like, there's no way that he should lose to Jake Paul. But if he does, he's out of the family. Change the last name and you can no longer box. So there's that incentive. And I saw a clip is circulating now. Jake Paul was with Tyson Fury recently, and they were joking about that as well. They're actually making a friendly wager on the fight as well. So it looks like it is going to happen. It's supposed to take place at the end of February. So we're about a month away.
Well, listen, I am all for that. Because again, that's what we've been wanting. Jake Paul to fight an actual boxer. So now we finally get that. I got to shout out Logan Paul. who, as of last night, I gained a whole new respect for. Okay, Eric, I know that I not see your face, but no, you gotta listen. The Royal Rumble went down last night. Jake Paul was in the Royal Rumble. This is my first time actually seeing him. I know he signed a deal with WWE, but this is my first time actually seeing him. I ain't gonna hold you, Eric. Logan Paul is aight, man. This is where he should be. I'm glad he made the right decision to not box anymore. And to go to WWE. Logan Paul did his thing last night. He didn't win the Royal Rumble, but he did make it to the bottom 3. But he had a move that he did last night. Oh my goodness, I forget the other guy's name, but they both jumped up. They were both outside of the ring, holding on to the ropes. They both jump up in the air, and it's like a double clothesline in the air in the middle of the ring. I'm gonna send you the clip. I gotta find the clip, Eric. I'm gonna send it to you. But I had to get. I gained a whole new respect for Logan Paul after seeing him in the Royal Rumble last night. I got to give it up to him.
As someone who grew up watching wrestling, I don't want this to come across. I don't want this to come across as negative. It's all scripted, bro.
Yeah, but the athleticism. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Cliff. Ricochet.
Yeah, I mean, it's all scripted. It's all scripted.
Yeah, the athleticism is not scripted. To do something like
that.
No. Well, drop a comment, Cliff. Let me know if I'm bugging about that move. But to do what they did to both guys to jump onto the top of the rope, not like climb up the turnbuckle. I'm talking about middle of the ring, jump on the top of the rope and fly in and double clothesline in the middle of the ring was crazy.
Well, no, the athleticism though, I don't think we should be shocked by that, because even before the boxing, they both were known as high school football players, and I think they played football and lacrosse in high school, so they had some athleticism already. So that part I'm not shocked by. But okay. I mean, if that's his path, kudos. That might be the best path for him. You know what I'm saying? Physically, he fits the mold and the prototype. So that might be a great look for him.
Listen, I love it for him. Shout out to Logan Paul on that. Shout out to Cody Rhodes, son of Dusty Rhodes. Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, so he's gonna get that title shot at WrestleMania. So looking forward to seeing that. And before we get up out of here, a little bit of WNBA news. One of our favorite lady ballers, Candace Parker, she has decided to take her talents to Vegas. She will be joining the Las Vegas Aces this coming season. So I'm congratulations to her and her new destinations. She got her ring, so now it's like she do what she want. Do what you want when you pop it.
Yeah, shout out to Candace Parker, because she brought a ring back to her hometown in Chicago, and she has done phenomenal work with TNT. I really like her as part of the TNT crew and all the insight she brings to the game there as well. So I'm looking forward to see what she does with the Aces and what she continues to do with TNT.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, make sure you guys are following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/Real Fans Real Talk. And of course, let me throw the YouTube channel up on the screen for you guys: YouTube.com/For the Fans Productions. Make sure y'all subscribe to that channel, man, so you don't miss the lives on Sunday mornings. And again, make sure that you guys are subscribed to both the Sanchez Show podcast and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. We are streaming on all major platforms. You can't miss us. So much content that we got coming out. And again, if you are not in the New York City area and you can't watch us on television on Thursday nights on Verizon 43, do not worry. All you have to do is go to the website, www.realfansrealtalk.com. Click that link on the homepage and you can watch us from anywhere you are in the world. With that being said, Eric, you want to give us your final thought?
Man, again, as always, appreciate you guys tuning in every Sunday. Also tune in with us on Friday nights, man. Enjoy the games today, and we just look forward to seeing you guys in the comment section and rocking out with us.
Absolutely. Two final thoughts from me. One, I just want to thank everybody that tuned into the live today. We definitely appreciate your comments, helping us get through the day. And I gotta shout out our biggest fan in the smallest body, my man Aiden. Happy birthday, Aiden. Love you, and we appreciate you for supporting us every week watching these lives, man.
Oh, it's Aiden's birthday. Happy birthday, Aiden, man. And I hope everything went well. I know he had the basketball tryouts the other day, so man, hopefully he makes the team. He a two-sport athlete. He gonna be the legend in 2 games. He played football, now he playing basketball. So shout out to Aiden, man.
He's definitely outside with it, man. All right, man. With that being said, for myself, Trip Young, my brother, Eric Sanchez, legend in 2 games. We up out of here.
Peace. Enjoy the games.